She does not ask. She does not beg. She does not negotiate. Rhea Ripley demands. And right now, she is demanding that Jade Cargill hand over that title or face consequences that nobody in this business is prepared for. Welcome to Wrestling Stream. Alright, Wrestling Stream Nation, welcome back. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button and smash that bell right now, because this is the channel where we break down every power move, every threat, every jaw-dropping moment in professional wrestling. And today we are talking about something that has the entire locker room on edge and the entire wrestling world buzzing with excitement and anticipation. Rhea Ripley has sent a message to Jade Cargle. And when Rhea Ripley sends you a message, you had better take it seriously. Because Rhea does not make empty promises. She makes promises she keeps with both fists. So let's break this down completely. Let's talk about Rhea. Let's talk about Jade. Let's talk about the championship that sits between them. And let's talk about exactly what is going to happen when these two forces of nature finally collide. First, let's set the stage. Because to truly appreciate the weight of what Rhea Ripley just did by sending this threat, you have to understand who Rhea Ripley is and what she represents in professional wrestling right now. Rhea Ripley is not just a superstar. She is not just a champion. She is a force. She is the kind of competitor that comes along once in a generation. Someone who walks into a room and immediately commands every single eye in that room without saying a single word. She has a presence that is almost impossible to teach and completely impossible to ignore. When Rhea decides she wants something in this business, she goes and gets it. Full stop. No hesitation. No second guessing. No backing down from anyone or anything, regardless of how big, how strong, or how dangerous that thing might be. She has been at the top of this business. She has held championships. She has main evented the biggest stages in professional wrestling. She has beaten the very best this industry has to offer. And every single time someone has doubted her, every single time someone has underestimated her, every single time someone has made the mistake of thinking Rhea Ripley could be handled, she has made them regret it in the most dramatic and definitive way possible. So when Rhea Ripley sets her sights on your championship, that is not a casual interest. That is not a passing thought. That is a full commitment to taking what she believes is rightfully hers. And right now, every ounce of that commitment is pointed directly at Jade Cargill. Now let's talk about Jade. Because Jade Cargill is not just any champion, and this is not just any title picture. Jade Cargill is one of the most physically imposing, most athletically gifted, most visually striking competitors in the history of this business. She walks to that ring with a level of confidence that is genuinely breathtaking to witness. She carries that championship like it was made specifically for her, like it belongs to her and only her, and anyone who thinks otherwise is simply living in a fantasy world. Jade built her reputation on being undefeated for a remarkable stretch of her career. She built her brand on the idea that she is simply on a different level than everyone else, that the gap between her and the rest of the roster is so enormous that closing it is not a realistic possibility for most competitors. She is powerful. She is explosive. She is relentless. And she has backed up every single word she has ever said with dominant performances inside that ring. But here is the thing about Jade Cargill, and here is the thing about champions who have operated from a position of unchallenged dominance for a long time. Eventually, someone comes along who is not intimidated. Eventually, someone comes along who looks at everything you have built and everything you represent and says quite simply, I want that. And I am coming to take it. That someone is Rhea Ripley. Now let's talk about the threat itself, because the way Rhea delivered this message tells us everything we need to know about where her head is and how serious this situation has become. Rhea did not issue a polite challenge. She did not request a title opportunity through the proper channels with a smile on her face and respect in her voice. That is not who Rhea Ripley is, and that has never been how she operates. Instead, Rhea sent a message that was cold, calculated, and absolutely dripping with the kind of quiet menace that is far more frightening than any loud explosion of anger could ever be. The message was simple. The message was clear. And the message left absolutely no room for misinterpretation. Rhea Ripley is coming for that championship. Rhea Ripley is coming for Jade Cargill. And Rhea Ripley is not going to stop until that title is around her waist where she believes it belongs. She gave Jade a choice, and the choice was not really a choice at all. It was a warning dressed up as an option. What makes this threat so powerful and so compelling is the credibility behind it. When someone with no track record of success threatens a champion, it is easy to dismiss. It is easy to wave it off and move on. But when Rhea Ripley, a woman with a championship resume and a reputation for following through on every single word she has ever spoken, delivers a threat to your doorstep, dismissing it would be the most dangerous mistake you could possibly make. Jade Cargill is smart enough to know that. And the reaction from Jade's camp, whether it is defiance or a flicker of genuine concern behind the confident exterior, tells its own story about how seriously this threat is being taken behind closed doors. Let's talk about the matchup itself. Because on pure athletic and competitive terms, this potential collision between Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargle is one of the most fascinating and exciting matchups that professional wrestling could possibly give us right now. Think about what this match represents. You have Rhea Ripley, technically brilliant, psychologically dominant, with a submission arsenal and a physical style that has broken down every type of opponent she has ever faced. She is someone who can wrestle any kind of match, at any pace, under any set of circumstances, and find a way to win. Her adaptability is one of her most underrated qualities. She does not just have one gear. She has many gears, and she knows exactly when to shift between them. And then you have Jade Cargill. Raw power, incredible athleticism, a developing technical game that gets sharper and more dangerous with every single match she competes in. Jade is someone who is still genuinely growing as a competitor, which is perhaps the most terrifying thing about her. She is already at a level that most people never reach, and she is still improving. Still adding layers. Still becoming more complete. The contrast in styles here is absolutely delicious. Rhea's technical precision and psychological warfare against Jade's explosive power and unstoppable momentum. Two women who refuse to back down. Two women who believe completely and totally in their own superiority. Two women who have the physical tools, the mental toughness, and the championship pedigree to deliver something truly memorable when they are finally locked inside that ring together. This is the kind of matchup that main events the biggest shows in the world. This is the kind of matchup that defines careers. And right now, it all starts with a threat that Rhea Ripley had the boldness and the confidence to deliver publicly and without any hesitation whatsoever. Now let's talk about how Jade should, and probably will, respond. Because a champion of Jade Cargill's caliber does not receive a threat like this and simply absorb it quietly. That is not in her DNA. That is not how she became the champion she is today. Jade is going to respond. The question is how. Does she respond with fury, matching Rhea's energy and turning this into an all-out verbal war that builds tremendous heat before they ever get physical? Does she respond with cold dismissal, treating Rhea's threat as the words of someone who does not understand what she is walking into? Or does she respond by doing something unexpected, something that shifts the power dynamic in this story before Rhea even gets a chance to make her next move? Any one of those responses creates compelling television. Any one of those responses adds another layer to a rivalry that is already loaded with potential. And the back and forth between these two women in the weeks leading up to their eventual physical confrontation is going to be must-watch content for every single wrestling fan on the planet. Because here is the truth about Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill as a rivalry. The promos, the stare-downs, the mind games, the psychological warfare are going to be just as entertaining as the match itself. These are two women who understand how to tell a story. Two women who understand that professional wrestling is about making people feel something. And what they are going to make people feel is excitement and tension and that almost unbearable anticipation that only the very best rivalries in this business are capable of generating. Let's also consider the bigger picture here, because this title pursuit by Rhea Ripley is not happening in a vacuum. It is happening within the larger context of the women's division and the overall landscape of professional wrestling right now. Rhea Ripley making a move of this magnitude sends a message not just to Jade Cargill but to every single woman in that locker room. It says that the bar has been raised. It says that the standard of competition is about to go to a level that this division has not seen in a very long time. When Rhea Ripley enters a title picture, everyone around that title picture gets better because they have to. The pressure she applies, the standard she sets, the intensity she brings, it elevates everything around her. That is the mark of a true top-level competitor. Not just someone who wins championships, but someone who makes the entire division better simply by being in it and being fully committed to the pursuit of excellence. And for the fans, for Wrestling Stream Nation, and for wrestling fans everywhere, this is exactly the kind of story we live for. High stakes, compelling characters, genuine athletic excellence, and a threat that has set the entire thing in motion with the force of a thunderbolt. Rhea Ripley wants that title. Jade Cargill is not going to give it up without the fight of her life. And we are all going to have front row seats to watch it unfold. And that, Wrestling Stream Nation, is exactly where we stand. Rhea Ripley has sent her message. Jade Cargill has received it. And this championship rivalry is about to explode in ways that none of us are fully prepared for. We will be right here on Wrestling Stream breaking down every single development as this story builds toward what promises to be an absolute blockbuster of a showdown. So subscribe right now if you have not already. Hit that like button if this breakdown got your blood pumping. And get into the comments below because I need to know, do you think Rhea Ripley takes that title from Jade Cargill? How does Jade respond to this threat? And who are you riding with when these two finally collide? The comment section is all yours. Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay passionate, stay loud, and never stop loving this sport. I'm your host, and this is Wrestling Stream.